Hi everyone, this is your chess friend here. Today we're going to be playing another chess game, and I'll be analyzing it with you guys. So I think today I'll make 10-minute games so that we definitely don't run out of time. This is our first game. Okay, so he played d4. d4 is a good move, controls two central squares, which is good, so I think I'll play d5. It's a nice move, also defends two central squares. Occupies one central square. Okay, so he's going f3. He's trying to push e4. That's his goal here. Knight f6 stops that while also developing the knight. So I think that's our best move here. Okay, so he's gonna play e4 anyway, which is it's a fine move. I think d takes e4 is just fine though, and I can recapture with the knight if he takes with his pawn. So that's fine, I think. This is kind of like a gambit, which is where you go one pawn down or a couple pawns down for a slightly better position, which, yeah, this is a type of gambit. I definitely don't recommend playing them. I think it's okay. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they're good moves, but generally it's just better to play solidly. Make sure you're making the best move every move rather than trying to, win quickly. So this was definitely a mistake, moving the queen to g4. This is one of the problems, simply because my bishop can recapture, and this is called a blunder, when you make a move that just basically loses the game. So it's important to see when your opponent makes a blunder and try not to make blunders yourself. A good way to not make blunders is to simply play the game a lot. You'll make better moves the more you play. So this is okay, and I did make a new chess.com account for this channel so that we can climb together, kind of up the rating. So, this is meant for newer players, so you'll be seeing a few more advanced strategies that can be used at lower levels too. So this is to help you improve, as well as myself. Bishop to b5 is an okay move, kind of, although at this position it's quite simple to win. c6 works, stopping the check. Knight c6 is fine. Yeah, knight c6 works. I was concerned about pawn to d5, but the queen can recapture and it's fine. Bishop can capture, but that's fine because when you're up as much material as I am, which is a queen and a pawn for nothing, basically, it doesn't really matter if you lose a bit of position when you're capturing. It's usually just fine to it's fine to trade. Trading is very good here. As here, if I capture, which I'm going to do, it stops him from castling, which is quite a large thing. Well, very good for me, but it does give him the two bishops, which, again, this is an example of, well, it's okay to trade because it doesn't matter if he has the two bishops. I'm up so much material, they're not going to be useful. So queen taking on d4 is just a fine move. This is definitely the type of point in the game where you want to start attacking. You can tell that easily because his king is weak in the center, and you already have a couple pieces that are ready to attack. So bishop to e3, that's an okay move, but it doesn't really accomplish anything. I can simply move my queen back. I'm going to move to d5. This adds an attack on the bishop. So it's just okay, kind of forcing the bishop back. Yeah, it's a good. I think it's okay. It's nice. Here I'm going to go. Well, I could go e5, which is a good move, but it also gives him a target for the pawns. So I'm thinking e6 might also be better because it lets me develop my bishop, perhaps to c5, while also not really giving him a target. But here I think it's okay to go e5, simply because my queen has plenty of escape squares. And I think it's just good to claim the center, which is very good in the early game, as I've mentioned in my last video. Rook to f1, this is okay. He's trying to put some pressure on this file, but it's already very well defended. He's not going to be taking the pawn. But just in case, I think it's okay to go f6 to kind of lock down, make sure for a fact that he won't be able to take on f7. So I think I'm gonna do that. I think that's okay. He's got a few moves he can play. Knight to c3, it's okay, but like I said, it just lets me exchange, which is very good at when you're up. So I'm just going to exchange quickly, quite simply. Not much thought really needs to be put into this move. It also makes his pawn structure worse, so that's another way. Bishop to c5, good move. Just developing my bishop and hopefully trying to force him to trade, because if he trades, I'm just going to win if he keeps trading pieces, because eventually he'll run out of things to trade and I can easily win from there. Here I'm going to do a little bit of a sneaky move. Well, no. I'm going to take the bishop. It's the best move, forcing him to trade. If the rook takes on b7, that's a bad move because my bishop can always move back. So I'm going to assume, yeah, king's going to recapture. That's fine. Expected. Here I think I'm going to actually play a little bit of a trick move. I'm going to castle to the king side, which you can do. Well, you can castle as long as the king and the rook haven't moved, and you aren't castling through or into a check. So I can castle here. And this also has the added benefit of defending the b7 square. So I'm thinking king b8 is just usually a good move if you're castling queenside, because it makes sure your king's safe, which this is a time where bishop f5 isn't actually good, because all it does is help me with my development, which, well, not only my development, it helps me with getting my king to safety. So there are times when moves like a6 to throw away the bishop, or actually h6 to throw away the bishop, are good moves, like in my last example. But here this isn't like really the same thing as a free move when he played bishop to f5, because it just helped me. It gave a move that I wanted to do, and it let me do it. Okay, so here I'm going to ask you all to tell me, is it a good move to take queen to d1? I'm going to say it is a good move. You see, when I take on d1, let's count some of the pieces. So what goes off the board? I take, rook takes, rook takes. So I lost a queen, and he lost 2 rooks. Well, if you remember in my last video, I told you about how much each piece is worth. Pawns are worth 1 point. Knights and bishops are worth 3 points. Rooks are worth 5 points. And queens are worth 9 points. So, if I'm trading a queen for 2 rooks, I'm trading 9 points for 10 points, because each rook is worth 5. But also, it's just good even if I was making an even exchange here, like a queen for a rook and a bishop, it's still very good to trade, because you just really want to trade. Even if you're at the point where you're up 10 points, like I was, well, now I'm up 12 points, but I was up 10 points in material. It's perfectly fine to make an exchange where you lose 1 point, like trading queens and losing a pawn. If you had a queen and I was still up 10 points, because at that point, well, in the game, the amount you're up doesn't really matter. As long as you keep your advantage, you're gonna win. So it's just really dangerous to be able to trade. So the more you trade, the better it is for you, and the worse it is for your opponent, because he'll have less counterattacking chances and ways to get his position back. So he played a4, which doesn't do anything, honestly. He's never gonna go a5, a6, capture, and then queen. And even if he does go to here, I'll be able to recapture easily. King to d2 is probably a better move, but again, after rook to d8, well, rook h d8, which I would have wanted to do anyway, because doubling rooks on any file is very good. So in the end, it looks like it comes with tempo, but in reality, it just helps me, because it lets me make a move that I wanted to make anyway. I did go knight a5, which probably wasn't the best move, but I was thinking knight a5 into knight c4 would have just checked his king. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys. Oh, actually, I made a mistake. Well, kind of. He could have taken the pawn on h7. But to be honest, that pawn doesn't matter very much. Even if he took it with his bishop, it wouldn't have been very high impact. And I'm still winning a pawn this move, so let me challenge you all to find the move. What move can I play right now to win a pawn? I'll give you a hint. This is actually a very common idea. Moving a rook to the 2nd rank, or if you're playing white, the 7th rank, which is these ranks, which are these ranks here, is very strong because usually, oh, that's where the pawns start. So that's usually where they end up. So if I do this, I can easily check the king. He can't recapture because of my rook. And then I can take this pawn as soon as the king moves, because the king can only move 1 square. Rooks on the 2nd rank or the 7th rank, depending on what color you're playing, are very powerful for both attacking and checking, because they're, well, if you can block the king like this, you're trading 1 rook for the opponent's king, which is, in the endgame, a very, very powerful piece. So that's nice. That's a good exchange to make. C4 is a bad move because it gives me a pawn, and it's also a move I wanted to make. I think here... Okay, so here I'm going to look for a checkmate. You see, I can attack the bishop, but I can also threaten rook to here. So he missed it. He missed all of my tactics here. So I'm going to quickly, before I tell you what the checkmate is, can you see it? Well, let's go over the basic checkmate. These 3 squares are all covered by my rook. These 2 squares are covered by my knight. So really, the only thing I have to do here is deliver a check, which I can do with rook to d1. So yeah, we're at 900 rating. I'll quickly analyze this game, but I won't make it as long as the other video because this analysis is really simple towards this point. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, so according to my game report, I played quite well. Let's analyze this very quickly. Thank you. I'm sorry. D4. D4 is okay. D5 is okay. These are moves that are best at the higher ratings, but I suggest playing E4 on move 1. E4, E5, knight C4, knight C. This is basically what I recommend. Playing something similar to this. Castling. Maybe they play knight to D4. Defending with the pawn. You know, something similar to this. And then eventually you're going to want to go C3 and D4. That's basically your idea. But sometimes you can do something different. Let's say they played here. You could go whoop. You're going to want to move your knight to D2 in this because you can't move it to D3. Still, this is something I would recommend, but this is called the Italian, but that's not what white played here. White decided to go with, I don't actually know. Is this... Yeah, F3 doesn't seem to be very, very good. It already gives me an advantage, so... I think taking here just... I'm up a pawn, basically, so... Can't be awful. Engine says it's up half a pawn because my position's a bit worse, which I can agree with, but from here it's already winning. So really, this was when I won the game. He didn't really have much, even after this. So that's about it for this episode. Actually, no, that's it for this episode. I'll be posting another one soon with another game. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, even though this was a bit simpler of a game. Hope you learned something about blundering. A great way to stop blundering is to just keep playing and to do tactics. Tactics are very important. So, thank you for watching. This was your chess friend. Hope you learned something. Bye.